Good afternoon, everyone. It's about 20 past 4 here in the UK on Friday the 6th of November, and what a week it's been. Very strong afternoon again on the American stock market. Market 6 ticks off yesterday's high. Closed at about 35.10, the S&P yesterday, and so doing its best to clean and get through that 3,500 level. The short-term trend is up, the longer-term trend is up, but the foot has come off the pedal a little bit, so advances pretty much the same as declines. If we look at the VectorVest Market Timing chart, I pull that up. As you can see, we're pushing on these old highs, and that's the February high, and that's the one, that's the twice, that's the third time. And my mentor, Mr. Yan, would have said that it's going to break on the fourth attempt, so that looks quite strong to me. If we have a look, that's what the market's done this week. It's been quite incredible. If we have a look at the medium time market timing system that I'm following, that in fact gave a buy signal on the 3rd of November, and we've had a couple of very strong days. Now the market looks a tad overbought to me up here. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it pull back, or at least go sideways for a couple of days before any further movement on the upside. Certainly an awful lot of resistance up there. That's what's called overhead resistance, and it basically means that the chap who bought in February has spent all year getting his money back, and as soon as he gets back up there again, he'll actually wipe the sweat off his brow and take his money. So it'll take a while to get through that high, that's for sure. Always nice when you see a market trying to break on the fourth attempt. So that looks quite promising to me. I've bought into a couple of stocks, and I'll have a look at those now. Apps I spoke about on Wednesday, QDEL I spoke about Wednesday, Zoom, and Newmont Mining. I like Newmont Mining based on the gold price. It's up a little bit, not as much as I thought it would be. And I bought into Roku, and Roku's had a really good move, and it's a beautiful swing trade. It couldn't be in fact better. Let me take off the stuff off the chart, and for those of you that have done any of my swing trading courses, as you can see, the shares in the throes of a very strong trend. And the 21 moving average is above the 55 moving average, and it pulls back into the zone between the 21 and the 55. First thing we can see very easily is that this resistance has become support. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, and if we in fact take a fib from, let's say, that low to that high, we can see that that's a 50% retracement. And if we actually say we'll take it to that one, it comes, or to this one, I think it comes out at a 38% retracement. And when you're not quite sure where to take the fib from, do 2 or 3 of them and see where they fit on top of each other. That's always a good sign. But for me, I was reasonably happy with that particular point. And as you can see, that's exactly 618 of that, and the next one is 50, and if we go down to this furthest one, that's 38. So they're all sitting on top of each other. I think that was the best place to have taken the fib from there. At least that's what I thought. And as you can see, there's an even number there at 200 as well. If I put on my stochastic, I can see that the stochastic in fact is oversold and is showing what I refer to as reverse divergence, where this is falling, that's rising. That's a really good sign. And then the entry I was taught by George Lane himself, the guy who designed the stochastic. George always used to say that if you can draw a trend line, that's a great place to enter. And as you can see, there was one trend line just there that I thought was appropriate, and that's where I bought it somewhere in here yesterday prior to the news. I think that there was another trend line that I was in fact working on, which was this one. and that, in fact, I wasn't quite sure which one to use, but that one gave an earlier signal, and that was probably the best one to use, this little trend line here. So a particularly good swing trade in Roku. I think it's probably got a very, very long way to go, that share. Now, let's just have a look at the gold market for a second, because the gold market, and that's the bullion market, and the bullion market has broken that 1938 level that I've been talking about for a very long time, and that precipitated my entry into Newmont Mining. This is broken up, so I think that this will be two closes up here, and that's a very solid break of that level. I've been asked about gold shares from quite a few people this afternoon, and folks, if you're new to this investment business, gold shares are very aggressive investments. They've got a mind of their own, and they frequently, in fact, have to be managed and managed very carefully indeed. A moment's weakness in a gold share can be a very expensive exercise. But they look good, and certainly in the UK you don't have to look much further than Polymetal, which had a very, very good day, broken out of a little double bottom formation yesterday. So gold shares, I think, if I were to put on measure a target for gold from here, using the fib retracement from there down to that low point, and folks, we can quite easily see a move. The old high is at 2078, and if that old high got took out, it can easily get to 2200 from here. So if you've got the stomach for gold shares, if you've got the emotional resolve to manage risk well, then I think there's an opportunity in gold shares at the moment. Afrikaner lease looks particularly good. Caledonian Mining looks particularly good in the UK. Let's move to the UK market itself. And the UK market looking strong, green lights after the close yesterday, and an up situation. We still got a confirm down, all looking good. It's been a very nervous few days for me in the UK market, because I held my positions right through, and that seems to have worked so far. Most of my positions are up. Now, I need to add some gold stock to this. I still haven't done that because I've been working hard, and I'd like to put positions on a Friday anyway, so I'll have a look at that first thing. So by the time the Q&A comes around on Monday afternoon, I should have added probably Polymetal and probably one smaller gold stock. I think I probably look at CMCL, Caledonian Mining, for that smaller gold stock. Okay, so steady as she goes. I would not be so at all surprised to see a bit of pullback from here before we go again, to have another leg back before we move up. Nevertheless, momentum is very strong, and the US market doing its best to break clear of that 3500 level. Again, Mr. Gann would say that it needs to break above the level by 12.5 ticks. So if it gets above 35.12, 35.13, 35.15, with any luck, we're moving higher. So let's see what happens in the second half of the US day. But all is good, and we're now seeing a bit of green there again on the front page of VectorVest. So let's I've had a feeling that we're going to see a strong run into Christmas in both markets, both the UK and the US, and as I say, a nervous few days as I held all my UK stocks over the election period. I'm slowly but surely building into the US stocks, and I say I've got 4 positions running and reasonably happy with them all. I showed you on Wednesday's video how I found those based on the VectorVest Unisearch, my Unisearch, the DEW swingers. So if you have a look for that video, you should be able to see how I found those stocks. So I hope you found this useful. I'll have a Q&A for the VectorVest members, where we'll talk about all of this in a great deal of detail on Monday afternoon at 1:30. Those of you that are not a VectorVest member that would like a guest invite to that, then just email me, david.paul, P-A-U-L, @vectorvest.com, and I'll send you a guest invite. Or take a 30-day trial to VectorVest. It's only a $5. Thanks very much. Bye.